My prediction to win the Tour de France 2015, Alberto Contador.
Without a shadow of a doubt, Vincenzo Nibali. Vincenzo Nibali.
Welcome to the GCN Show.
The Tour de France is done and dusted, so we can exclusively reveal who actually won it. Plus, of course, we have La Course and Thuringen Rundfahrt.
Plus all of our usual features, comment, caption, Dom's tweet of the week. And you might have noticed, Dan's not here. I must admit, I do miss him a little bit, but not too much. And I'm glad he's not here.
Is that because of the hair thing? Making us look bad?
Not only is immaculately coiffured hair, Simon, but the fact...
Well, I am going for Chris Froome.
He's got his Tour de France predictions spot on.
Oh yeah, that's quite a lucky escape that he's not here.
Did you really think that even though I was on holiday I wasn't going to tune in just to gloat about the fact that I got my prediction right? I mean, quite frankly, I don't know what you two were thinking about. I mean, it's quite obvious by the fact that Chris Froome did push me a little bit up the Madon when I went riding with him that he was going to win the Tour de France. Anyway, see you soon.
It appears to be all we have time for. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye, Dan.
What are you waiting for? You have just one day left to win a pair of shoes like these Physique R3Bs. Get on it now.
First up is the winner of our Physique Shoes competition.
Yeah, well, there's two winners in fact. Ante Borzic, congratulations to you, and also Raymond Tuttle. Nice one, guys.
Congratulations indeed, but make sure you get in touch to tell us what colour you want. Black or white?
White.
Black.
White.
Black.
White.
Black all the way.
White shoes, funky socks, / black socks.
Black shoes, white socks, old school. What a final week of the Tour de France. Nairo Quintana stated early on he's going to attack in the Alps, and he delivered on that promise in spades with two devastating attacks to the summit finishes at Le Tissuire and also Alpe d'Huez, where the little Colombian took 30 seconds and 1 minute 20 seconds out of Froome respectively. But it wasn't enough, and Chris Froome rode to Paris to victory by a margin of only 1 minute and 12 seconds.
Yeah, you know, I think it's really interesting actually to look at exactly where the race was won. Now, Froome was so dominant on that very first mountain stage that you automatically think, well, that was where he clinched it. But no, if you look a little closer, Nairo Quintana actually took far more time out of Froome in the mountains overall than vice versa. So you've got to look right back to stage 2, his very windswept finish in Zealand, where Sky and Tinkoff Saxo, with the help of Ethics and BMC, absolutely ripped the race apart in the crosswind, helping Chris Froome to put 1 minute and 28 seconds into Nairo Quintana. So you can argue then, I think quite easily, that it was actually Sky's classic specialists, Ian Stannard and Geraint Thomas, that won the Tour de France for Froome.
A good point, very well made.
Thanks.
And unfortunately, we have to concede to Dan again because he predicted that that would be the most influential stage of the entire race. So, chapeau to Dan.
Yeah.
But that said, what about Chris Froome? He
Yeah.
rode with such strong mental and physical resilience. On the yellow jersey that undoubtedly weighed far heavier than it did back in 2013, and upon winning the race he was quick to praise his team, and remember they rode in defence for 15 stages too, so chapeau to the rest of the Sky team. But interestingly as well, a lot of you will know this, but Chris Froome also won the mountains classification, the polka dot jersey in addition to the yellow jersey, and that's the first time that's ever happened since way back in 1970 when the mighty Eddie Merckx did exactly the same. Caption of the week. Now last week we had a picture of Andre Greipel on a Segway with Adam Hansen closely following behind, and what have we got?
The winner is Christian Ortega. Congratulations, Christian. You said hidden engines are not allowed, but nobody said anything about unhidden ones, which is a good point really. But he also said, Christian, can you guys show your offices someday? I'm curious about your workplace, and I'm sure many other viewers are. So just for you, as a win bonus, because obviously you get some GCN swag, here is a sneak peek of the GCN offices. It's quite impressive, isn't it?
Hashtag secrecy.
Oh yeah, pretty good. Anyway, get in touch, Christian, and then we can get your address off you and your t-shirt size. We'll send you some swag. This week's photo is this one of Roman Kreuziger. Matt, perhaps you can shed some light on what he's doing. What is your caption?
A cracking photo that I'm going for. I'm just channeling my inner Froome.
Oh, that is remarkably good,
That's actually
actually.
I thought that was quite good.
Very good
Some
indeed.
of my best work right there.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you
it
can
is
beat
actually.
that, just leave your comments down
It's
below.
probably your best ever work,
I doubt
actually.
you can. I think I'm going to be the winner of next week's Caption of the Week.
Let me know your t-shirt size. Probably one smaller than that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit big this one. I've not lost any weight. It's a bit baggy. Gone for the medium rather than the small. But,
Chris Froome.
Now, as we mentioned earlier, Dan might actually have predicted the result of the Tour de France. So where does that leave the rest of us?
Alberto Contador.
Matt, you care to explain yourself?
Well, I predicted Alberto Contador, otherwise known as Bertie, and he came 5th overall, which, to be honest, all things considered, it was quite a remarkable effort. You know, he came off the back of a ridiculously hard Giro d'Italia, which he won. But when you look at the level that Chris Froome and Nairo Quintana were at, they were focused solely on the Tour, came into the Tour de France fresh. I'm not overly surprised. And Bertie himself has said that he's got no regrets at all. He's glad he tried to do the double, but didn't succeed. But interestingly, for 2016, he's now solely focused on the Tour de France and then the Olympic Games road race.
It's interesting. Do you send you a text?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. In the form of a press release, that kind of thing. Yeah.
And move on.
Yeah, okay. Vincenzo Nibali. Now, it has to be said, Vincenzo underperformed at this year's Tour de France. That's fine. But I was really, really impressed with the class that he showed. Going into a race with number 1 on your back and then being way below where perhaps he should be, but yet still fighting to the bitter end, in fact, claiming a stage win, obviously right at the back end of the Tour de France. I think he should have won a lot of fans with that result. And I know there was a bit of controversy about attacking when Froome had a mechanical problem, but I think from my perspective, that was a bit overblown. So I think Vincenzo leaves the Tour with his head held high.
And just to add to that, and all the sort of the stuff within the team with Vinokurov as well, that must have been really hard to deal with. So yeah, fair play to Nibs for taking that stage.
Absolutely. I tell you what then, Matt, we might have finished 3rd and 4th in the predictions competition, but GCN's best downhillers right here. Oh yeah.
Well, you know, it's all right fist bumping, but at the end of the day, mate, I won, didn't I? No sooner had we announced that Van Garderen was swelling the Fab Four to the Fantastic Five, and he pulled out the Tour de France. Now, it's one of the biggest mysteries of the Tour because he was ill and then on the road to recovery, but on stage 17, sadly pulled out with 70 kilometres still to ride.
Yeah, both his team BMC and Van Garderen himself seems to be a bit of a loss. It's the exact reason why he had such a bad day, but whatever the cause, it must be devastating to him personally, because that was on the verge of an absolute breakthrough performance, isn't it? Although, does it count as a breakthrough if you don't finish?
It's called a knocking on the door breakthrough performance.
So kind of like not a breakthrough? No.
No, not really.
Just a no.
And here are the 4 things I think that you need to know about the group set.
Comment of the week. Got a couple of crackers for you this week. Now this one from Mike Marino under Tom Last's very cool FSA electronic group set video. Mike says, here are 4 things I think you need to know about the group set. Then Tom names 5.
And number 5 is just the ergonomics of these. I think these are really, really smooth.
Don't say last season good to you. That was an extra bonus.
Certainly was.
What about this one though? So under the Tour de France tech video that we shot with Kaylee Fretz of Vela News, Jurka Rizek waded in with, is Kaylee pregnant? Now that's slightly controversial. Kaylee himself got involved. Are you calling me fat? Now fortunately, Jurka had a very good reason for that. He said, no, I was just making a joke because Simon said he could only offer you water. So I think he pretty much got out of that situation because that could have turned nasty. That was on the verge. You don't want to mess with Kaylee. He might look like a skinny bike rider, but I've heard, you know, he's pretty. Swedish champion Emma Johansson of Orica AIS has won the 8-stage international Thuringen Rundfahrt, but without actually taking a stage win, unfortunately. Lisa Brennauer, the world time trial champion of Velocio SRAM, took 2 stages and led the race for 6 days, but going into the final stage, she had just 20 seconds over Lauren Stevens and 30 over Emma Johansson.
Yeah, but it wasn't enough because Johansson escaped on the last climb of the final stage. And although she missed out on the stage win, she did enough to clinch the overall, with Carol Ann Canwell in 2nd and Stevens holding on for 3rd. Back for its 2nd week, it's Tour Shorts.
This week, actually I don't think there were any short-related incidents at the Tour de France this week.
Actually, come to think of it, the page on the script was completely blank. But it's a cool intro anyway.
Yeah, great.
How about Simon Geschke?
Yeah.
His win on stage 17 of the Tour de France. Oh, what a win it was. 45 kilometres solo. But interestingly, it wasn't only his first Tour stage win, his only third victory of his professional career, but by our reckoning, he's the only fully bearded rider ever to win a stage of the Tour de France. And so impressed with GQ magazine that they actually tweeted about it last week too. So well done, Simon Geschke of Giant Alpecin. What a
That's pretty cool. I tell you what caught my attention this week, Team Europcar.
Oh.
Right. Now, Thomas Voeckler is infamous for his gurning, basically, you know, tongue out, jaw twisted. But it seems like the rest of the team have cottoned on to his popularity as a result of gurning. So now we've got Pierre Rolland, Cyril Gauthier, and even Brian Cockard gurning away. So we did wonder whether it was a kind of a team policy. So we checked
It's gotta be.
with another bearded rider, Dan Craven, actually, and he did send us this message.
This is for real, guys.
Yeah.
That was grotty.
No, not that message again. This is actually Dan. He said, at the training camp, they brought in a specialist to show us correct gurning techniques. Now, I sadly missed it as I elected to take the Introduction to French Cheese class presented by Fleury Michon, one of our team sponsors who do the restaurant truck that the team has. So there we go. It is actually an official thing. Team Europcar do gurning. That's their thing.
Amazing
They
stuff.
did deserve a stage win, actually, though. They did try super hard, and they came pretty close.
They did. I mean, Rolland got himself just sneaked into the top 10 by virtue of perhaps his gurning techniques. And then, what about Cockard, the final stage, wheeling whilst gurning into second place? That leads us on very nicely, the Champs Elysees finish, to Andre Greipel. What a Tour de France the Lotto Soudal German powerhouse has had.
Yeah.
4 stage wins, capping it off with a win on the Champs Elysees. Now, by my reckoning, Andre Greipel could be the new Andre Greipel.
I'll leave you out.
Over very wet and slick cobblestones on the Champs Elysees in Paris, Anna van der Breggen of Rabo Liv won the second edition of La Course. But it was a treacherous race with crashes affecting many of the field. Pauline Ferrand-Prévot, the world champion, crashed twice in the race.
Yeah, Van der Breggen attacked solo with around 7 kilometres to go and managed to hold off a bedraggled bunch for a very, very prestigious victory. Now, second place was taken 1 second back by Belgian champion Julian Dour of Wiggle Honda, with third place coming to Amy Peters of Liv Planter.
Having been pretty much drowning in amazing new tech for the last few weeks, this week we can finally draw breath and, well, probably save a bit of money actually. But don't worry, we will not leave you wanting. Here is a very quick look at a money can't buy bike. It's Chris Froome's special edition, almost one-off Tour de France bike that he used on the final stage.
Yes, and it's not an almost one-off because he got a bag caught in his back wheel and got a spare exactly the same.
That is quite cool actually. It's Team Sky, always thinking.
And if you look closely, yes, that is a rhino on his top tube. Not wishful thinking, but a nod to his African roots, and also the fact that Froome himself is, quite coolly, the ambassador for the United for Wildlife charity. How cool is that?
Very cool.
But you've got to admit though, Si, a rhino isn't the animal that you'd immediately bring to mind when thinking of Chris Froome, is it?
No.
I'm thinking more along the lines of a stick insect, for example.
Yeah. You know, remember Paolo Bettini used to be called the cricket, Il Grillo. So there's a precedent in the peloton. Insects.
There we go. If you've got any other insect-related cycling kind of like greats,
Yes, please, let us know in the
leave
comments
your
down below.
like the ant or the centipede, for example. On the channel this week, Wednesday, how to climb like a pro.
The most important thing to think about is pacing yourself. If you go too hard too early on a climb, you can run into oxygen debt, which is that feeling where your legs are burning and you just can't gulp down enough air. So, on longer climbs, like this one, you need to measure your effort.
Thursday, the top 10 cycling rules, pause, to break.
I tell you what, Matt, I've got a serious surprise for you.
Friday, epic climbs, Gibraltar Road, not in Gibraltar, in California. taking your job soon, Phil.
Saturday we've got Jerome Capel's Pro Bike. Sunday is off the back, and then on Monday, this is one for those of us with OCD, how to perfectly align your saddle and your handlebars.
It's time for Dom's tweet of the week.
Nice, what's he found for us this week?
Couple of crackers, the first of which is actually a tweet exchange rather than a tweet in isolation. It comes from @Jules52, who says, Froome could upload his files to Strava, like @Laurens ten Dam. Imagine the KOMs he would get. To which Laurens ten Dam has replied, do not. I'm proud of my KOMs.
Well, fair enough, Lawrence. It's not very sporting, but you know.
There we go. Next up.
Yeah, next up, what's next?
And the second one Dom has chosen for us is from NY Velocity, who tweets, not to be outdone, Chippo, like Mario Cipollini, releases numbers where the ladies can reach him. Please draw your own conclusions there. We've got a third tweet from Dom. He's been busy this week.
Third one.
My has Dom been busy.
He's found his phone, clearly.
This is an absolute cracker. I didn't thought I would at the start, but 12 GTs done and dusted. Thanks for your support and catch you at the Vuelta.
Bloody hell. Fair play, Adam.
Stuff.
You call him handsome Adam, by the way, because I know you guys are good mates, but that's quite, you know. Or was it Hanson?
At Hanson. I mean, he's a good-looking lad.
Handsome.
I didn't actually. I said at Hanson, not at Hanson.
Handsome. Okay.
This is your 11th Grand Tour. 12th. So I know I get it wrong. 12th Grand Tour in a row.
We've got a fourth tweet. Dom has been busy. It's an absolute perler from
Go on
one of my favourite riders in the peloton, Peter Sagan, at Peter Sagan. Let's have a bit of fun now. Little party, never killed anybody. Smiley face, at Tinkoff Saxo, hashtag green jersey, at Latour. It's basically
He's made his Tour de France trophy into a machine gun.
And doing the noises of a machine gun as well. You got to love Pete Sags, haven't you? Yeah. Sagster. Look at Froome.
It's not the most appropriate gesture I've ever seen on a podium.
It's not, but he does like the podium, doesn't he?
He's clearly been picking up tricks from his team owner.
3,000 favourites, 1,500 retweets. Basically collapsed the internet with that tweet right there. Where are we, Si?
It's the Dirt Shed Show!
Louder.
Well, don't sit down, mate. Don't sit down. You need to wipe up before you sit down.
It's a bit oily, that, isn't it?
It's the Dirt Shed.
It's the Dirt Shed! Is that it? Like properly shouting? Like
You didn't count me in that time.
Sorry, mate. 3, 2, 1.
It's the Dirt Shed Show!
I've read about this on the internet.
We thought it was appropriate for Extreme Corner.
What is Extreme Corner this week? Because this is a pretty extreme place. Really?
Yeah, it is a bit, isn't it? It's extremely dirty. Anyway, this week's Extreme Corner is a sneak preview from forthcoming GCN video. Check it out. You're actually in it.
Am I?
Oh, it's extreme.
Six, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That video. Actually, so while you're here, we've got some tissue paper. I've still got a bit of egg in my ear. I think it's been there all weekend. Do you mind just trying to scoop it out? It's been causing me a real problem. I can't hear properly.
Yeah, there you go.
Just a bit of a wiggle. Ooh, that's nice. Thanks very much, mate.
We'll leave that as a present
That's what
for
friends are for.
Dirt Shed Show.
Cheers, Si.
Yeah. Sneak preview.
Ooh.
New GCN bottle. New GMBN bottle, which they don't know about yet.
They don't. I tell you what, I'm going to hide them on the set. You just carry on with the last bit that we normally do. No, that bit that we do, pointing to stuff.
The bit.
I'll go and put them on the...
Right then. So I will point to stuff whilst Matt does his thing. Dan went to spend the day with Eurosport on the top of Alpe d'Huez just the other day, and he created an excellent film showing you behind the scenes. You can get through to it by just clicking up there. But for all of our Tour de France content in one handy place, we have put it all in one playlist. You can get through to that just down there. You could sit through 3 weeks of amazing GCN videos.
Actually, I think it runs to nearly 3 weeks. So just make sure you set aside a nice portion of time to do so.
3 weeks.
And some nice refreshments and
Take
stuff.
a holiday, maybe.
Some cheese, you'll be fine. And to subscribe to GCN, how about clicking on something old and rusty from this rather interesting and rather oily?
You don't need to say that about yourself, mate.
So,